Hello friends, today we discuss about the electric heating. In this chapter, first of all we discuss about the classification of electric heating. Now as shown in chart, we can see that electric heating is mainly divided into two parts. First one is power frequency heating and second one is high frequency heating. Now in power frequency heating, it is also in subdivided into three parts. First one is electron bombardment heating, second one is resistance heating, and third one is arc heating. Now resistance heating is also divided into three parts: direct resistance heating, indirect resistance heating, and radiant or infrared heating. And arc heating is divided into two parts: direct arc heating and indirect arc heating. Now in high frequency heating, there are total three types. First one is eddy current heating, second one is induction heating, and third one is dielectric heating. Induction heating is also divided into two parts: direct induction heating and indirect induction heating. Now in this chapter we will discuss these all types of heating in detail. First of all, what is electric heating? So heating is, we all know that heating is required for both industrial and domestic purpose. In industries, heating is required for the melting of metals, molding of glass, enameling of copper, packing of insulator, and welding, etc. In domestic purpose, the heating is required for cooking, water heating, room heating in winter, pressing the clothes, and many more. Now we discuss about the advantages of electric heating. First one is electric heating is free from the dirt because minimum effort of cleaning is required. Electric heating is free from flue gases, hence there is no need of exhaust system for the heating generation. Third one is temperature control can be done very easily. With the help of electric heating, we can control the temperature very easily. An electric heating system is economical compared to other conventional heating system. In both, the installation cost and running cost are also quite low. Then automatic protection against any abnormality in the heating system can easily be provided in electric heating. Next one is the efficiency of the system is quite high compared to other equivalent heating system. Means the efficiency of electric heating is very high as compared to the other heating system. Next one is the electric heating system is noise free. And last one is starting of the system is quite faster than other heating system. These all are the advantages of electric heating. Now we discussed the all types of heating in detail. We started the first power frequency heating. Now in this method, the electric power is directly utilized to heat any substance. In power frequency heating, electric power is directly utilized to heat any substance. The power frequency heating is again subdivided into two categories, we are discussed in that chart. First one is resistance heating and arc heating. Here first one is left, electron bombardment heating. What happened in that method? Bombardment of electron cause heating. Means we know that when any electron is bombarded on any atom, then heat is produced. That system is utilized in the electron bombardment heating. Now mainly we discuss the resistance heating and arc heating. Now what happen in resistance heating? So resistance heating is also can be divided into two parts. First one is direct resistance heating and second one is indirect resistance heating. We discuss the first, direct resistance heating. Now what happened? Now we see the figure. Okay, we continue as in the direct resistance heating, the current flow directly through the substance to be heated. Means કે જે બી સબસ્ટન્સને આપણે ગરમ કરવાનું હોય, જેને આપણે હીટ પ્રોવાઈડ કરવાની હોય, બરાબર, તો ડાયરેક્ટ જ આપણે ઇલેક્ટ્રિક કરંટ એમાં ફ્લો કરવામાં આવે છે એ સબસ્ટન્સની અંદર. ધ સબસ્ટન્સ વિચ ટુ બી હીટેડ ઇન એન ઇલેક્ટ્રિક હીટિંગ સિસ્ટમ ઇઝ કોલ્ડ ચાર્જ. જે સબસ્ટન્સને આપણે ગરમ કરવાનું હોય દેટ ઇઝ કોલ્ડ ચાર્જ. એઝ here the charge itself provide the path for passing current and heat get produced in the charge itself, the efficiency of the system is quite high. એફિશિયન્સી શા માટે વધારે છે? કારણ કે જે સબસ્ટન્સને આપણે હીટિંગ આપવાનું છે તો કરંટ બી શેમાંથી પાસ થાય છે? ધ કરંટ પાસિંગ એન્ડ હીટ ગેટ પ્રોડ્યુસ ઇન ધ ચાર્જ ઇટ સેલ્ફ. એ એની અંદર જ કરંટ પાસ થશે અને એમાં જ હીટ પ્રોડ્યુસ થશે. એટલા માટે એની એફિશિયન્સી કેવી હોય છે? વધારે હોય છે, બરાબર. The popular example of direct resistance heating are resistance welding and electrode boiler. આપણે વેલ્ડિંગ તો જોયેલું છે આપણે, બરાબર. તો એમાં જે સબસ્ટન્સના આપણે જે રોડ હોય હીટિંગ વેલ્ડેડ રોડ, તો એને ડાયરેક્ટલી જ આપણે એને યુટિલાઇઝ કરીએ છીએ. એટલે કરંટ શેમાંથી પસાર થાય છે? ડાયરેક્ટ સબસ્ટન્સમાંથી. ઓકે. ઇનડાયરેક્ટ રેઝિસ્ટન્સ હીટિંગ, તો આની અંદર શું હોય છે? ઇન ધીસ મેથડ ઇલેક્ટ્રિકલ કરંટ પાસીસ થ્રુ અ રેઝિસ્ટિવ એલિમેન્ટ વેર હીટ ઇઝ પ્રોડ્યુસ્ડ ડ્યુ ટુ ઓહમિક લોસ. This heat is then transferred to the substance which to be heated. The popular example of indirect resistant electric heating are immersion water heater, electric cooking heater, oven and heat treatment system of the metal. આપણે નોર્મલી યુઝ કરીએ છીએ આપણે જે ઘરમાં જે આપણે હીટર યુઝ કરીએ છીએ એમાં શું હોય છે? કરંટ ક્યાં પસાર થશે? હીટરની અંદર જે હીટિંગ કોઇલ હોય એમાં પસાર થશે અને એમાંથી I²R જે હીટના ફોર્મમાં જે ઓહમિક લોસ થશે એનાથી આપણું પાણી ગરમ થાય છે. તો આને કેવું હીટિંગ કહેવાય? ઇનડાયરેક્ટ રેઝિસ્ટન્સ હીટિંગ. ઓકે. નેક્સ્ટ વન ઇઝ આર્ક હીટિંગ. તો ઇન આર્ક હીટિંગ ધ હીટ એનર્જી ઓફ આર્ક પ્રોડ્યુસ્ડ બાય ઇલેક્ટ્રિક મીન્સ ઓફ યુટિલાઇઝ ફોર હીટિંગ ધ સબસ્ટન્સ ઓફ ચાર્જ. ધ આર્ક ટેમ્પરેચર ઇઝ અબાઉટ 3000 to 3500 degree Celsius. Means the temperature is very high. It is also divided into two parts: indirect arc heating and direct arc heating. In indirect arc heating, in the electric furnace where the arc is produced between two electrodes and the heat generated in the arc is transferred to the charge is known as the indirect arc furnace. And the direct arc heating ની અંદર શું થાય છે? તો in the electric furnace where the arc is produced between the electrode and the charge itself is called the direct arc furnace. Now second major part, high frequency heating. Now this type of electric heating can be divided into three parts mainly: induction heating, dielectric heating and infrared heating. Now we discuss first induction heating. In induction heating it is also divided into two parts: direct and indirect. Now what happen in direct induction heating? In the direct induction heating, the current gets induced in the charge itself due to the changing current nearby. Due to the inherent resistance of the charge, there is heat produced in the charge itself. So induction heating and eddy current heater are two well-known examples of direct induction heating. Now in indirect induction heating, in this method heating element of the furnace are heated up by the current induced in them by mutual induction of source coil. This heat then gets transferred to the charge by radiation and convection. The indirect induction ovens are mainly used for melting of metals. Dielectric heating. So this is very difficult to uniformly heat up an installation material like wood, ceramic, plastic, etc. Now here high frequency dielectric capacitive heating is employed. In dielectric material connected between two electrodes behave as a capacitor and high frequency current can pass through the capacitor. Now the current through the capacitor cause uniform heating in the dielectric material. So the frequency applied in the dielectric heating is very high, in the range of 10 to 15 kilohertz, but the efficiency of this system is very low, about 50%. Infrared heating, or we can say radiant heating. So this is the most inefficient method of electric heating. It is also the simplest form of electric heating. Here the electromagnetic radiation coming out from an incandescent light bulb is focused on the surface to be heated. It is mostly used for the drying out the wet paint surface of an object. Now we discuss the first method, resistance heating, in detail. Now according to the Joule's law, the resistance loss means I square RT is used to producing the heat from electrical energy for various industrial purpose like welding, heating or building, etc. Okay, the following are the two methods employed in the resistance heating. First one is direct and second one is indirect. Now as shown in figure, in this process the current is passed through the substance. We can see here these two are the electrode. Now the current is directly passed through the substance to be heated. જે સબસ્ટન્સને આપણે ગરમ કરવાનું, હીટિંગ કરવાનું, એને ડાયરેક્ટલી એમાંથી કરંટ પસાર કરવામાં આવે છે. This process is being employed in various general industrial equipment like welding and electrode of the water heating boiler. Arrangement જે ફિગરમાં બતાવેલી છે એ રીતની હોય છે, બરોબર. This one is the positive electrode, this one is the negative, okay, and this is the charge whichever we have to heating up. Construction. So in case of DC or single phase AC, 2 electrodes are required, but there will be 3 electrodes in case of 3 phase supply. Okay. In this method, the charge means resistive material is put in the tank. The electrodes are immersed in the charge. At the same time, the electric connected with the electrode. The charge should be in powder, piece of liquid, etc. If the charge is not in the type means is required high resistive heating element. The heating element to be used in furnace should possess the following properties. First one is જે હીટિંગ એલિમેન્ટ આપણે જે યુઝ કરવાનું છે એની અમુક પ્રોપર્ટી હોવી જોઈએ જે આપણે ડિસ્કસ કરીએ છીએ. ફર્સ્ટ વન ઇઝ ઇટ હેઝ અ હાઈ રેઝિસ્ટિવિટી, મીન્સ this will reduce the length of the heating element. If the resistivity is high, then the length of the heating element will be reduced. Second one is high melting point. It is necessary for obtaining the high temperature. Third one is free from oxidation. The element material should not be oxidized when subjected to the high temperature. And fourth one is low temperature coefficient, means for accurate temperature control the resistance should be nearly constant at all temperature. This can be obtained only if the resistance of the material of element does not change appreciably. Operation working के लिए थसे the supply is given to the charge through the electrode. The charge should be in the form of powder or liquid. Okay, if the charge is metal piece means the powder of lightly resistive material is sprinkled over the surface of the charge because of short circuit. The current is allowed to pass through the charge which heats up the according to the Joule's law. As the current in this case is not easily variable, therefore automatic temperature control is not possible. Okay, however we use the uniform and the high temperature can be obtained. So these are the resistance heating. We discussed the direct resistance heating method. Now second one is indirect resistance heating. Now in this method, as shown in figure, we clearly show that there are positive electrode, this one is a negative electrode, this one is a charge. Okay, in this process electric current is passed through a resistive element and heat thus produced is conveyed to the substance to be heated by convection or radiation process. Means in direct resistance heating heat is directly passed to the charge, but in indirect resistance heating whatever heat is produced is not transmitted to directly to the charge but by the convection method or radiation process. Resistance oven, immersion heater are application of this method. Construction. In case of DC or single phase AC, 2 electrodes are required, but there will be 3 electrodes in case of the 3 phase supply. In this method, the charge and the electrode are separated, and in between the charge the heating material is fixed and the electrodes are connected with the corresponding supply. Means we can use AC or DC. The heating element is selected through the important properties like high resistivity, high melting point, low temperature coefficient and free from oxidation. These all are the property of the heating element. Working operation. The supply is given through the electrode. The charge should be in the form of powder or liquid. If the charge is metal piece, means the powder of lightly resistive material is sprinkled over the surface of the charge because of short circuit. The current is allowed to pass through the charge, which heat up according to the Joule's law. Then the heat transfer through the heat waves, means radiation. So it required high power to heat the material